Hello, all my geeks. So, it is Tuesday, February 21st at 2 o'clock p.m. from the last video. And as you can see, it has been a hot minute, to say the least, from the last video. This is a continuation of the confirmation bias video. This is actually part 2 of it. And our laundry problems are such that I'm actually having to dry this sheet. It's a flannel sheet on my studio. I have a studio curtain holder or hanger, and I thought, well, if I'm going to use it to dry sheets, why not actually use it for filming? So I'm in a totally different room here, and I have this flannel sheet up and this room is traditionally known for being extremely echoey, so you'll have to forgive me for that. If it's echoey, please forgive me. I am recording on my Samsung smartphone here, and I have the camera just a little bit ways away from me because I had to change the setup and the rig and everything. And so you'll just bear with me, please. So, and having said that, I explained that because I might get interrupted in this video. If I get interrupted, I'll stop the video and because I can't redo these things. Time is of the essence. I just can't. So if I get interrupted, I'll stop the video and I'll try to film the second half of it or whatever half of it for the next one. So, and yes, I decided to go ahead and dress up for this video, and it just so happened to have black, white, and gray snowflake background. This is one of my favorite sheets that we have. And my outfit actually happens to just fit the background, so that's kind of nice. So, okay, so confirmation bias or spiritual DNA. What this video is actually going to be about is spiritual DNA, and I'll try to keep it under 20 minutes. So, when it comes to confirmation bias, if you're raised that communism is good and that democracy is bad, you're going to be, biased towards that. If you're raised that democracy is good, communism is bad, you're going to be raised towards that. If you're raised that Republicans are good, Democrats are bad, you're going to be confirmation biased towards that. If you've been raised that Democrats are good, Republicans are bad, you're going to be confirmation biased towards that. And the same thing goes for religion. If you've been raised to be a Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Taoist, Buddhist, what have you, your confirmation bias is going to be towards those items. If you've been raised, atheist and scientific, then you're going to be confirmation bias towards atheism, towards only physical based matter. Now, the only thing that breaks out of this at all, and I'm trying to look at the camera now, sorry about looking at myself or the background. And apparently your eyes actually go to different sections via what you're thinking about. And I am a kinesthetic. I'm kinesthetic and I'm visual. Mainly I'm visual, but I am also Asperger's. So that's probably. So and by the way, speaking of Asperger's, everybody around the world has been raised to be against the homeless, workers' rights, women's, those who are seen as mentally ill, those who are seen as physically ill. And you will have confirmation bias. So just by me saying that I'm Asperger's has caused, I'm sure, quite a lot of viewers to write me off. And that right there is confirmation bias against those who have Asperger's. You can have confirmation bias against those who are homeless. You can have confirmation bias against women. You can have confirmation bias against Black people. You can have confirmation bias against poor people. You can also have confirmation bias against rich people. I'm not even going to get into that. That's kind of a whole nother video. But this confirmation bias does knit into this. So the only thing that breaks out of confirmation bias is spiritual DNA. Now, I suspect that this comes from the fact that we actually are reincarnated many, many, many times. We're just being used for energy, whatever you want to call it, emotions, mind, whatever. But what spiritual DNA is when something, they say, resonates with you, when something speaks to you, when something feels right, when something feels like it's the truth. That is spiritual DNA. And one of the big problems that I have with people is when they say, oh, that psychic was a liar. That psychic was just a money grubber out to get my money. That spiritualist, that witch, that practitioner was a liar. They're just out there to sell their cards or their books. They're just out there to sell their candles or their spells or their oils. No, that is not what's going on. first off, when it comes to, well, okay, I'm not going to get into the defense of that. I'm going to leave that for another video right now. What we're dealing with right now is spiritual DNA. So the reason that that psychic resonated with you, the reason that astrology, okay, when I say resonate is the reason that astrology seemed correct, the reason that witch seemed correct, the reason that spiritualist seemed correct, the reason that psychic seemed correct is spiritual DNA. Now, just how everybody's DNA is different than everybody else's, but you will have long lineages, family lines of DNA. That is how you can find, people were taking pictures of themselves up against these massive old portraits of presidents and whatnot in our country, leaders of our nation. And they're going, oh my God, you look exactly like that once alive, rich, doesn't exist anymore person. And they did. They looked exactly like a dead stamp of them. And the reason for this is because of physical DNA. Well, the exact same thing goes on spiritually with spiritual DNA. The reason certain people sound like, and they are telling the truth, all these people, by the way, all these practitioners, these psychics, these witches, these spiritualists, all of these different the astrologers, they're all different practitioners, what have you. Preachers, priests, uh, oh, uh, whatever it is in the Jewish and Muslim and whatnot community, I forget what they call them. They don't call them priests, but there you go. The monks in Buddha and whatnot. The reason that these people, these entities resonate with you, the reason that they sound like the truth and feel like the truth is not because of confirmation bias, but because of spiritual DNA. Okay? And spiritual DNA is, it lets you, some people are clairvoyants. Some people, in other words, some people can see things, some people can hear things, some people can feel things in their body, some people can smell things, some people can taste things. That's kind of rare. But the majority of people can feel things in their body, or they can see things or hear things that other people say are not there. Well, just because it's not physical doesn't mean that it's not there. Well, that is spiritual DNA. And the reason that you will actually get an astrology reading and it will be accurate and be correct is because of spiritual DNA. Now, I personally got an astrology reading from a very professional, very good astrologer, and everything that he said was completely wrong. I don't know why. And people are, when it comes to confirmation bias, when it comes to spiritual things, throw out confirmation bias because spiritual DNA cuts across the crap and it shows you the truth. So if some psychic is talking to you and it feels like it's the truth, then it is the truth. If an astrologer is talking to you and it feels like it's the truth, then it is the truth. If a preacher or a monk or a rabbi, whatever it is, the leader of your church, or someone from your church is speaking to you and it feels like it's the truth, then it's the truth. What you've hit on is spiritual DNA. Your spiritual DNA is saying, that is like me. I've run into this before. This is correct. This is like me. In other words, it is, and I know that a whole lot of biased people are going to want to discount this, but this is correct. And part of that is because of reincarnation. We are being reincarnated over and over and over and being used. And more than likely in some past life, you were a monk, a rabbi, a preacher in this religion. More than likely you were a witch, a psychic, a practitioner in whatever not wanted, religious area. More than likely you were into astrology and you were a big time astrologer, astrologist, whatever you want to call it, But that reincarnation aside, you do have certain abilities. It's why I say anyone and everyone can speak to their dead loved ones. Anyone and everyone should be able to meditate. Anyone and everyone should be able to connect to other planes. And your abilities are going to be, because you're going to be able to either see things or hear things or feel things in your body, or maybe smell and taste things, or what is more often the case, people will just know things. They'll just know it, that they know it, that they know it. The Christian Bible talks about this. It's you know that you know that you know that you know that you know. That is spiritual DNA. Anyone that is writing this off right now, this video right now, that is your spiritual DNA talking to you, because for whatever reason, your spirit, your soul has chosen to go the path of not believing spiritualism, not believing these spiritual truths that I'm giving you now. That right there is spiritual DNA, and that is your spiritual DNA proving me correct. Even though you won't admit it, that is spiritual DNA proving me correct. So, there you go. I hope I don't got lipstick on my teeth. And but just to let you know, that is why I am so angry with and against people who say, oh, that psychic was just a liar, that astrologer was just a liar, that witch was just a liar. They were just trying to get my money. They were trying to convince me of whatever. They weren't trying to get your money. First off, everybody and their brother has to make money for a living. People are making money off of playing video games on the internet. People are making money off of, doctors are making money off of selling extremely dangerous, life-threatening prescription drugs, and they are doing it legally. Pharmacology, pharmacology is making an absolute killing, and they are actually physically killing people. Those who work for the government are taking your tax dollars. They're taking your money away from you. They're making a living. So this excuse of, oh, they were just wanting my money, is not even an excuse. It's not even an argument. So throw that one out right there. Everybody and their brother is trying to get money in one way or another. They're trying to get resources in one way or another. The only ones who aren't into that are the extremely egotistical ones who are just trying to get a good name, So there you go. So throw that argument out. As for anyone who wants to call, especially psychics who want to call other psychics, other practitioners, liars and fakers, first thing, drop that person cold. If they're calling someone else a liar or faker, then guess who the liar or the faker is? It's them. Anyone that points the finger of blame at someone else, that's the person who is doing the evil. That's the person who's trying to take away your money. That's the person who's trying to lie to you. If they're pointing fingers of blame at anyone or anything else, then they're the ones who are lying to you. They're the ones who are trying to cover their ass. Okay? I don't care. Anyone at all. Anyone at all. Whether it's someone in authority, whether it's someone, a pastor from a church, a coach, a teacher, someone from the government, I don't care. If they say that this other person is bad, that they're lying, that they're just trying to get your money, whatever excuse they have, they're the ones who are lying, all right? So drop them like a hot potato. So I get very upset when practitioners, whether they're a witch, whether they're a psychic, whether they're a preacher, when they go and point the finger of blame at others in their field. I'm also very upset when they point the finger of blame at others, when Christians point the finger of blame at Muslims, when Muslims point the finger of blame at Christians. There's a really good igniting thing right there. That isn't good either. You both work in spiritualism. You can't, don't sit there and call the other one a liar, because they're not. They're just flat out not. It's called spiritual DNA. And the reason you resonate, the reason Muslim speaks the truth to you, is because of your spiritual DNA. Your spiritual DNA is configured towards being a Muslim. If Christianity speaks to you and it's the truth to you, then go for it. Your spiritual DNA has configured you to be a Christian. Go for it. If astrology speaks to you, if witchcraft speaks to you, if just general spiritualism speaks to you, if this Abraham Hicks happy thinking kind of speaks to you, then go towards it. That is spiritual DNA. If it sounds like the truth and feels like the truth, then go towards it. That is spiritual DNA. Okay? So, drop any one or thing, religion or what have you, that is saying that this other group, this other person is a liar. More than likely, if they're saying that the other is a liar, then they're the ones who are actually the liars, and they're pulling the wool over your eyes in one way or another. All right? And this also automatically cuts out prejudice. And it also automatically cuts out distrust, which is another component to all of this. All this stuff knits together. It all knits together. And it's rather difficult to keep it just in pieces like this, one little piece at a time, one little video at a time, but I'm trying. So, and since I'm at the 15-minute mark, I'm just going to finish with, and I know that this seems a little confusing and it seems a little disjointed, but it's not. I hope I'm getting the point across. I hope I'm getting the idea across, because it's very important and it really needs to be known. And yeah, there you go. I can't sit here silently because because I can't edit this video. Usually I would give myself about 10 minutes to sit here on camera and just think about this and try to sum it up, but I can't. So to try to sum it up, don't believe anything that calls anything else a liar. That's the thing that's lying to you. I had to learn that out from life experience. And I had to learn that out through horrific, horrific torture situations and torture through my life. If it wasn't for that torture, I wouldn't know these truths now. So, if you run into a psychic that calls other psychics liars, then they're actually the liar. If you run into a witch that calls other witches liars, then they're actually the liar. If you run into a priest, a coach, a scientist, literally a scientist, a Muslim, anyone who calls any of these others liars, then they're actually the liar. They might be so deluded in their lie that they don't even realize that they're the one that's lying. The whole point is to be open to all things, test all things, and prove them for yourself. And that actually goes into another video that I think I'll go ahead and do here as soon as I can. So that's it for now. I can guarantee you I'm probably going to end up filming a video about spiritual DNA again. So there you go. And for everyone that disagrees with this, they are acting according to their spiritual DNA. So there you go. So I will try to sum this up better later on, but for right now, I'm cutting this video off because it's almost at the 20-minute mark. So thanks for stopping by. Give this a thumbs up, give it a like. Please follow my Witchy Geek channel and visit me on Instagram, and I'll see you later. Bye.